Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me. If this is your first time here, don't forget to subscribe and also click on that bell button so you can be notified every time I upload a new video. For today's DIY, what you're going to need is one of these poster project boards and also an 8x8 cutout from a piece of paper or a box that, whatever you have, cardboard. And you're going to need a ruler if you don't have a stirring painting stick, because the painting stick is actually an inch thick. So for me, it was just easier to use a painter stick than to actually use a ruler. But just measure out an inch from what's going to be the top of your DIY, and just make the line like so, measuring out an inch thick. And then I used one of these larger popsicle sticks, but it's about a half an inch thick. So just go ahead and use one of these to measure it out if you don't have a ruler. And it's one of the larger popsicle sticks that you can purchase at at Walmart. And I measured out the sides and then also the bottom. Okay, so right here, what you're going to need after you measure out all the outside of the box, you're going to get your 8x8 square that you used and then measure it out from the line that's on the outside to what's the inside, and then score it and trace it out also there like that, the popsicle sticks. And you just need 2 of those. And I'm just making sure they're actually in the lines. So I started and I just traced them out like so. Now with the box cutter, you cut out the inside of the squares that you measured out. And depending on how many tiles, because that's what we're going to be using again today, those stick-on tiles, is how many posters boards you're going to need. Once you've cut out all the box squares, just make sure you cut it out all the way and then just pull them out, pop them off like so. And you do that to all of them. And now I had purchased 8. I wish there was another one, and I'm still looking for that one because I want 3 of these actually. But with this one poster board, I did 2 of them. That's one, and then I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. But I also cut the larger side of the poster board in half like so. And there you have it. You stick them in there just to measure it out. But before we actually peel off the stick from the tile, what we're going to do is paint the poster board. Now I chose to use the brown from Waverly chalk paint, and I'll leave the color down below. And I used a wet rag because if I noticed that if I used a dry one on this, it was too dark. And I wanted it to be a little bit lighter, not to look distressed, but just a little bit lighter. So I just did it in little sections. And then also when you're painting this, what I did, and I'll show you in a little bit, is I went in all my edges with a heavier, with more paint on my rag so it could look darker. But you just lightly paint it little by little. That way the paper won't peel off of the actual poster board that you're using. I really love these. Like I said, there's different ways you can use this, but I'm hoping to find one more so I can have 3 rows of these little decor pieces. So you just continue to paint it lightly until you're happy with the color. I can see painting this, that turquoise and brown also. To mix both colors together, that would look really cute since the tile has that turquoise in it, that green turquoise color. But that's completely optional to each one of you guys' kitchen decor or wherever you're going to place these. So right here, you'll see how I went in with a heavier coat of paint to line the insides. And I don't know if you can tell really good, but it's darker than the outside of each one of these tiles. So that's that top part. Now with the bottom part, you can leave it this way because you're really not going to see any of it. But I chose to go on and do the same thing to all the lining of the outside of this poster board. This I do recommend you do. But I also went in and painted my backing of my poster board. I guess you could say the back of this decoration. And you don't have to completely paint it, but I would recommend you paint at least the corners. That's just in case, you know, so you won't see any of the white. This is my technique, kind of just swipe it and then I just rub it all everywhere. So some parts are thicker than others, but that's, you know, and they're darker, but that's just my preference. And then once you're happy with it, let's set it aside and let it dry. But make sure, like you see me here, painting the outsides darker, just the linings. And there you have it. That's your frame for your tiles. Okay, so the way I did it was I kind of just put one in like so. I didn't completely press on the tile. I just lightly laid it there just to make sure it's where I want it to be before I actually permanently placed it. And I didn't add any glue to this at all because of the adhesive that the tile has. Each one of these tiles, since it's poster board, it stuck on there really good. So I didn't use any glue or all for these tiles. For the poster board I did. So once you're happy where you have them and it's fine, and they're all lining up, you go ahead and press down on them. And now you can use some E6000 Fix-All glue. I used a little bit of both to add the top of my framing. But as you can see, I wanted it to look darker around the tiles, so I'm adding some more paint. And once you're happy, go ahead and, like I said, add your hot glue. And I did put a few dots of E6000 on my corners. I didn't show that to you here, but I did do that. And then you go ahead and place it over your tiles in the bottom of your poster or your frame. Secure it, and there you have it. Now, when you're done, if you like the way it is, then you're good to go. I again wanted it darker just to frame it out, so I added more paint to make sure they both looked even. Now, once it's dry, flip it over and add whatever you're going to add to hang these. I ran out of the hooks that I usually have to frame things, so I just used some jute twine and hot glued it to the back of my poster board. Or project board, I'm sorry. And let those dry. You can tell I added a lot of glue, but I didn't want it to fall. And I did this to both of them. This is the way they look side by side. And this is the way I'm going to actually have them, is hanging up like so. What do you guys think? I know I need one more, but I'm still on the hunt for it, for one more tile to complete my look. But what do you guys think about it so far? Till next time, bye.